abusia papa ya owo mi screen so dodo na enim no ni din edi McDan na abusia oyobi a wo baga na ha say ya or can billionaires for ne ho even I'm say like or can few Ghanaians awo mo private jet e Ghana no or can ho bi na wonim empempram no kase news bi adropi a efa McDan ho na abusia news no eye news bi a ano odin ni nyina ne say yes say McDan a paralyzed. Yes, the castle be a paralyzed. It means say wabubu agu ho bibisa na mesremo sa info yi nipa wode ma yen eye abrantie anase papa ni din e black rasta wono e na wo boyemu about McDan ni yare a wo yare abusia yes eye paralysis to said yes na mesremo yentie said the black rasta esi chiremu. And said according to Black Rasta no ahimfofo binum aniage about McDan ni yare a wo yare ne ho yentie Black Rasta.
McDan has not been around for some time now. Is he on a business trip? Or he has just decided to stay away from prying eyes? These are the questions people of Adan are asking. First and foremost, who is McDan? This is McDan, Dr. Macaulay. No, he's a businessman. He owns private jets. That's an enterprise known as private jet at our airport right here in Accra. And he's a man who has gone through turbulent times to be able to rise to this level. McDan is his name. He has a lot of lovers and at the same time a lot of haters. He is the boss of Electrochem. And when we talk about Electrochem, what are we talking about? It's the biggest salt mine in the whole of Africa, as we have been made to know. McDan is a Ghanaian man. In other words, he comes from Accra. He could also be coming from Adan, as he told the people. And he represents the Kole, aka the eagle, as his totem. He's been quite controversial in the past. Many people believe that he uses his influence to be able to get what he wants from politicians. There was a time, oh yes, the Trade Fair Center was in a big turmoil and McDan was fingered in all directions as the perpetrator of that act of indecency. His name is McDan. For some time now, he's been out of the business. He's been quiet, at least for some 1 month. I decided to find out exactly what is happening to McDan. Once in a while, I speak to him. Once in a while, he calls me and I call him too. He calls me brother after our differences. And I love it when people call me brother. He has been installed as a chief in the northern region of Ghana. He's a man who is also into some philanthropic activities. Can I cut all this short and go into the story? Come here, my yo. You think a joke. My God have mercy. Now hear this. My brother, my sister. I went all the way to Adan. And what did I see? Something shocked me. The chiefs were jubilating. Why were they jubilating? They said McDan came using government power, political power, to steal their salt land from them. We're talking about the Kole Lagoon. This is the sweetest salt you can find in the world. Over. And this salt here is spiritual. We have told the history of this salt over and over. But to suffice it, give me just 30 seconds to run it through. Watch this. Now, this salt was discovered by an ancestor from the Tekebiawe clan of Adan. And he was called Nene Kole. The first. Nene Kole, my brother, my sister, was the one who went hunting. And when he shot at an animal, the animal was able to resist the bullet and ran into the bush. He chased this animal, hoping that it will die from the bullet wounds. But when he got into the densest part of the forest, he saw a woman sitting there. He said, I am the animal you shot, and I intentionally brought you here to direct you to look at this. And when Nenekole raised his head, he saw salt all over the place, whitish substance. And he said, do you know what this is? Taste it. He tasted it, and this is the area. And he said, well, it tastes funny, but it is nice. He said, this shall become very, very important to your livelihood. This is for your people. He gave him a number of rules to follow, one of which will suffice this conversation right now. Do never let anybody monopolize the sword. Come here, my youth. Watch this. You know what happened? Nene Kole decided that he would let everybody get to know about the salt and that they should never stop anybody. No race, no tribe, anybody could go in and harvest the salt. It was for everybody. There are some other rules which we will not go into. But at the end of the day, McDan had food monopoly according to the people of Adan. He had the support of some chiefs. And then, when I went there to do my research, some of the chiefs, including Libiwono, who is supposed to be the priest of the lagoon, you know what they did? They were pouring libation and enchanting, and also calling upon the gods to strike McDan. I didn't like the spectacle because the kind of hate I saw in the eyes of the chiefs. And they claimed that McDan was there to rob them of their property, traditional property. Well, some of the chiefs supported him, but there were some who didn't. Now, as it stands, it looks like a lot of the chiefs have gone away from McDan. For what reason, I do not know. There has been so much violence in the area. Some people have been killed. But remember, this is not the first time somebody is being killed because of the sword. You remember in the days of Maggie? How many of us remember Maggie? Maggie, my brother, my sister, was shot and killed. Margaret Kuon. We've told this story over and over. The president at the time, J.J. Rawlings, had to fly in an helicopter and go all the way to the place to be able to bring peace to the area. It was at that point people were stopped from harvesting salt from the area, whilst a Cuban specialist group was brought in to look at the long-term solution to the salt issue. And you know what happened? The Cubans came out with their verdicts. Under no circumstances should the whole salt project, spanning several acreages of pure white gold, aka salt, under no circumstance should that be monopolized by anybody as contained in the traditional scripts of the Adan people. But McDan had political will, and he also had the money, and according to him, he meant well for the people. He did a lot for the people and wanted to do more. In fact, the salt that is being harvested from the area has never been harvested anywhere around Africa and beyond. And McDan believes that his business with the salt will provide Ghana with more resources, cash, than the gold and the cocoa that we are over-relying on. Is this true? Is it false? May I go deeper into the story? Come here, my youths. Watch me. Now, the interesting thing is this, and I always need you to listen. Some people have not been happy with McDan. They claim he's a bully. So they have gone underground to pray, consult their gods. And when I arrived in Adan, only yesterday, they told me that McDan is paralyzed. That the gods have struck him. I asked them for a proof. And you know what they said? They said they had their Asafutu festival. McDan was supposed to come there. They had built a beautiful stool for him as a son of the area and as tradition demands. But he never appeared there. He was supposed to also sit in a palanquin. The palanquin was empty. The stool was empty. And when they checked from the ghost responded that he had been struck and he's paralyzed. How true is this? This is the information I have from the people of Adan. So, as a journalist, what do? I decided to place a call to McDan. Come here. Watch this. I placed a call to McDan. Number 1, no response. Number 2, no response. The third and final call also went unresponded to. This is very unusual of McDan. Even if he's outside the country on business, he will quickly send me a message and say, yo, Black Rasta, I'll get back to you. I decided to speak to some people close to McDan, and all they told me was that McDan will be present when he is needed. McDan is all right. Nothing is wrong with him. Well, I want to pray that it's all right. I do not want anybody to lose their lives because of salt. I believe every disagreement can be sorted out. And I went back to the chiefs of Adan and I asked them, what can be done, even if it's paralyzed?
Abusia, yes, according to Black Rasta, actually, they said he was adding common wohu. Abusia for no epese some way somehow. See, because according to Black Rasta, no Oyobia will no mukratani McDan adding komo. Yes, or friend now or peke or chatting now or respond. But this time around, actually say Ada I have say abosomo astraki McDan or try biaso binya McDan and no a communicate actually say ni na ayeden efeli ya said the was chirimu no na otimu said dear I have no about McDan no abusian say wa paralyzed no according to Black Rasta no otimu said no krebi ewo mu a abusian subscribe to your channel you for update turn on notification bell no what you say yes na so far there we any the Black Rasta edia betum edia mayen about McDan ayema was so atibie so for amazing aka you talk too much anyway I mean for wo nc ahasi